Hello everyone, thank you for checking out today's video. In this video, I'm going to be covering how to create a script to add all the users on your instance to a group. Now, I'm sure you're probably thinking, why in the world would I want to do that? So I actually had a use case come up at work where we downloaded the Adobe Acrobat Sign application. And within that application on ServiceNow, you're actually required to be a part of some different groups if you want to access the application on ServiceNow. And the issue is that we have like 40,000 users on our instance. And we decided as a department, as the IT department, that we wanted all users to have access to the application. So the quickest way that I found to do this, there was a few different ways, but the quickest way was to just create a script. And we created a fixed script. And within that fixed script, we just run that and it added all the users to the group like we wanted. And in order to add users, new users that were being created to that group, we created a business rule that just automatically added users when they were created to that group. So I'll actually cover that in a different video. But in this one, I'll go ahead and walk you guys through the steps that I did to create that script, and we'll test it to make sure that it's working. Okay, so you can either do this as a background script or a fixed script. A fixed script is nice because then you have a record of it and you can just reuse it as needed. So if you type in fixed script in your all apps menu, you'll see it under system definition. And here is the one I made, add all users to a group. And I'll just walk you through what the script does. So in case you missed it, if you need to create a new one, you would just select new right here. Okay, and when you create your script, obviously you want to name it. If you want to, will not create updates when false. So you could set this to true if you want to before. So not sure what before it does actually. But yeah, there's also the record for rollback. So in case you need a rollback, like for example, we're adding all these users to a group. If we wanted to roll back, we would have the ability to do so. You also want to add a nice description to your fixed script too, because as we start to integrate AI more and more into our instances, we want to make it a smart instance. And in order for AI to work correctly, you probably want descriptions and names and titles of different records that are going to be easy for your AI to crawl and understand what everything does. So as far as our script, this is kind of what we have going on. So first thing I did is I created a variable, and then within that I created a glide on the sys user table because we want to check the user table. Within that I added an add encoded query, and these are easy to get. All you have to do is head over to the associated table. So let me just go over to the user table real quick. Okay, and you just go down to your condition builder. Let's just do like active is true because that's the one that we have. So once you do that, if you right click the breadcrumb trail and go to copy query, I'll just paste it somewhere random here. So that's kind of what the encoded query looks like. And that's what I put over here in between the parentheses. And if you don't want to do an add encoded query, you could just do an add query. And then you would add the name of the field and then what you want the value to be in within the two parameters. So the first parameter would be you want, or I guess it'd be an argument. So the first one that you would want is the name of the field. And then the second would be what you want that value to be for that field. From there, what you're going to do is you're going to query. So you're going to run your query on the glide on the sys user table. And this is a while because there's going to be multiple. We're not looking just for one. We're looking to add all the users that match this criteria where active is true. So as long as that is true, everything within this will run. So while that is true, we're going to go ahead and initialize or set up a new glide on the sys user GR member table. And that is the table that logs all of the users and the groups that they're a part of. From there, we're going to do an initialize. And you can see an initialize creates an empty record suitable for population before an insert. So essentially creating the template for a record that we're going to create. So from there, what we do is we are setting that record. So the fields on that record. So the first thing that we're doing is we're setting the group. And this is the sys ID of the group. Now the sys ID of the group is very easy to get. So a few different ways to get it. Probably the easiest way to get it is just go to the record, whether it's group or something else. So let's just click on this one, for example. I know I'm only sharing part of my screen, so I'll paste the URL. So if you look at the URL and you come down here to where it says sys_ID equals, this right here would be your sys ID for this particular record. So after the equals and before the ampersand. So everything right here. Okay, so that's what, like I was saying, this would probably make sense as a fixed script because you could always come back to it and all you'd have to do is update, I guess this here, your encoded query if you want to change that, and then also the group that you're trying to add to. Okay, so after that, we have, we're setting the user, and we're setting the user to the associated user ID. So the user ID that it's grabbing for each one of these records that match these conditions on the user table. And then an insert. So insert a new record using the field values that have been set for the current record. So initialize creates the template, and then we set the fields for the record that we're trying to create, and then we insert the record into the table. All right, so if this works correctly, we should have a whole lot of users getting added to, I'm trying to remember what table. I think it was this one right here. Let me refresh actually. Okay, yes, so this one. So there's only one user right now. So all of the active users, once this is done running, should be added to this incident management group. So let's take a shot and see if it works. And we could just, well, I don't think we have that many. We don't, typically for me, because we had 40,000 users, I wanted to be able to do other things, so I would run this in the background. But let's go ahead and just proceed. See if we can watch it go. Actually, I probably should have did it in the background. Oh, there we go. Look at that. We went from 1 to 625, and it's already finished. That was fast. Nice. And it probably would make sense here to set up different logs so that you're logging stuff to your console, especially if you're having trouble adding users to the group. You'd probably want to see where your code is breaking, especially when you're doing multiple glides. It's helpful to see, you know, what records are getting passed. So you could probably put in a log to log each user that is getting pulled over here, because maybe you're missing users and you'd want to see which ones are like kind of basically just setting up different points in your code with the comments to see where it's breaking. So that's always a good thing to do, especially when you're creating scripts like this. All right, so we got all these users added to the group, so it's exactly what we wanted. So you could use this for all sorts of things. So I'm sure you guys maybe will have a similar use case. But in the next video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to create that business rule so that we're adding all new users to the same group, so that we're not having to run the scripts, you know, over and over and over and over and over. We just have that business rule in place. So now every new user that gets created will get added to that group, and they'll have access, in my use case, to the Adobe Sign application. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. Please also consider subscribing to the channel. Catch you all in the next one very soon.